Hello, you lot. We are here after a W. I'm not sure if we saw it coming, or at least in that capacity, a 31-13 win. The Eagles overthrow the Buffalo Bills in a game that I think simply had to happen. Shout out to Orlando Scandrick first and most of all for facilitating it and giving the Eagles a much needed fire that needed lighting. And a big shout out to all of you guys in the world. We're going to be here for the next hour or so debating just about everything. We're going to go through trades, we're going to go through this game, we're going to go through the future, and obviously the games that are on the horizon. Of course, we've got Chicago Bears coming up, the New England Patriots coming up, and then an even trickier affair a few weeks after that with the Seattle Seahawks. So there's a lot to talk about in this stream. But obviously we've got a slightly different display laid out today down the bottom left or right that way. We've got to look at the player of the game first and foremost. Jordan Howard, 23 carries, 96 yards and a touchdown. Did he get injured on that final run? We don't know, but it would have been great to see him get over that line and really push for that 100-yard mark. It's been 35 straight games since the Eagles have had a 100-yard rusher, but they got as close as possible, and I think it was over 280 rushing yards combined overall between everyone. It includes, obviously, Miles Sanders, 65 yards. It includes Carson Wentz going off. The Boston Scott touchdown. The Boston Scott Hive stands up and immediately sits back down again because he fumbled on special teams, and that sucked, but that's not the point, alright? The point is the backfield looked good. Apologies if my face looks a bit red. We've got fake blood on there from Halloween antics, which wasn't what you wanted to see today. But let's see who's in the chat. We've got Global Atheist, Rotten Thomas, Rob T. Hello to all of you guys. Isaac Tunius, I know you wouldn't miss this stream. We've got all the familiar faces here, hopefully some new ones as well. If you are new around here, guys, make sure you leave a like on the stream and hit that subscribe button. We have these every single week. We have Eagles film rooms, we have previews, we have breakdowns, we've got so much more, and we'd love for you to be a part of our community as well. And who knows, there may even be another t-shirt giveaway, which is basically all you guys come to see. But yeah, let's turn the table to you guys. What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind after this win? Where do we go from here moving forward? I think Brandon's just flirting now. Oh, you. Nice to see you too, Brandon, in the stream. Where do we go from here? The immediate attention now turns to the deadline, right? Because if the Eagles didn't come away with a win from this game, if they lost to the Buffalo Bills, I think it's safe to say they would have been sellers, that they would have been in a situation where there's not that much to play for. I know we've got half the season to go, but realistically, it's a much taller order to reclimb the way back up to the top of the NFC East, especially with all that noise going on as well. But a win, I know it's the Buffalo Bills, and they'd played previously, struggling teams like the Miami Dolphins and the Jets that had struggled. Their only loss came to the Patriots. So, it's a skewed win. It was a game that ideally they should win. It was one that was perceived as by many as a trap game at the start of the year. But at the end of the day, in this current climate, when there was this much noise around the team, a win is absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. So Isaac says, tomorrow morning, Robbie Anderson and Chris Harris Jr. I'd like it, to say the least. Jim Schwartz called a great game. Geordie Fights is in the chat. So is Rashad Gibson. Hey to you guys. As for Jim Schwartz calling a great game, I disagree. I think he called an okay game. AK got very much masked by the fact that the Eagles were able to, score 31 points. The offense really showed out, which is something they hadn't done all year long. Defensively, it was still third and long and almost giving up things. It was still playing miles off the ball. There was one good play from Ronald Darby. I think the pass rush, though, to the credit of that, JVSTO bands, I think that was absolutely brilliant. I think that seeing production from Fletcher Cox, who had to take over that game, he had to stand up and really make an impact. Seeing Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett at defensive end, that was interesting. We've missed that all season long. Now there's no defensive tackles, there's no interior help. To see those guys go out and make a killing is great. They needed that boost. I think that sparked a lot of what we saw. Stephen Bevan, guys, we just want to welcome a new member to PSN. So Stephen has joined Philly Sports Network as our official esports contributor. Woo! So we're officially covering esports now, and while I know this is an Eagles stream, it does mean that there could be some live streams, some podcasts, lots of articles for any of you that follow esports, whether that is the Philadelphia Fusion, whether it's the NBA 2K stuff, whatever. We're going to delve into that very soon anyway. But yeah, let's see what else you guys are saying. The media was killing us for 2 weeks. Why do they hate on us? I don't know. The one thing that really got to me was the Josina Anderson thing. Fair enough, you put the reports out, you've done your job, well done. Then you go and quote an Orlando Scandrick thing and said, on record, implying that it's him pushing it further, and then a day after you reply to some random Randy on Twitter and go, and they still think they know who it is. Like, behave. You're trying to push your story at this point. The story's gone. It's done. You're literally just cooking up problems. There's no need for it. That was an anonymous source, whether it was Skandrick or Olshan or whoever. It's done. The story's out. The desired effect has been had. Let it go. It's as simple as that. I'm just going to take a drink a second. So we've got over 50 of you in the chat already. So this is huge. I mean, these streams are always a bit wild because obviously after an Eagles win, there are other games on right now as well. You can have the primetime game a bit later. I know the Texans and Raiders are on at the minute. So to see so many of you in, this is awesome. Again, if you want to join this community, we would love to have you around. So we'll read out every subscriber to the channel as long as I get the email notification. If you want to subscribe, that'd be fantastic. Obviously, we'll answer your questions for the next hour or so as well. Gotta thank Skandrick for this game. Yeah, I think it's gonna play some weight, isn't it? Because it was really a case of, I think if the Eagles didn't ball out, if they didn't show up and have an impact, then it's like everything he said is right. Whether it was or wasn't, it looks like it was. He could have said the most off-the-wall thing in that interview. We don't know, right? It just sounded like it was realistic, given what we've seen and experienced with this team. But if the Eagles had gone out and laid an egg, and then that happens after Skandrick, it's just, told you so, team's gone dead, lol. The fact that they responded in the face of adversity, like they've made their own doom here, right? They're not underdogs, they were favourites that have pushed themselves out of the favourite window by their own stupidity, basically. But to recover from that, though, is another task entirely, and I think they're underdogs to themselves at this point, which is a much more powerful energy to have, as opposed to everyone doubting us. It's we're doubting us, and we have to stop. We have to believe in ourselves and prove ourselves wrong, prove the man in the mirror wrong, prove the coach wrong, and that to me is a much more powerful energy. And you saw it on defense. I mean, Malcolm Jenkins today was playing like a man possessed. All right, he was flying around the field. I mean, I know that was that QB hit that everyone wants to talk about. It was an unintelligent play. Whether it should have been flagged or not, I don't know. But for a veteran in the league, a two-time Super Bowl champion, you've got to have, some slight awareness to your game as opposed to doing that. But, beggars can't be choosers. You want him to play with energy. You played with energy. And as Geordie says, you know what? Big shout to Ronald Darby as well, because I've been not exactly been his most favourite person over the last 6 months. I've probably been one of his biggest critics, if not the biggest. He made a good play in a big-time situation. Fair play. But, no harm in saying that at all. There was an update. So Joseph says, anyone have an update on Sanders? So they had an X-ray. Nothing out of the ordinary at the moment. They're waiting on an MRI tomorrow. It could be like an AC joint, probably something like that, or an AC sprain. Like it's nothing that fans should be deeply concerned about so far. Anyone else wondering about Wentz's gloves? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, but I do like the new sleeve. I mean, the white sleeve was a look and a half, so fair play to Carson Wentz. That was a hell of a look. He balled out. I think my favourite play of the afternoon out of all of them was when he rushed for the extra yardage and then kind of slid back up and just shot the first down. Like, that's franchise swagger. And I think we've missed that. That was a moment as well. Like seeing Carson Wentz kind of right above that adversity. That was really cool. But guys, I know we've got a lot to talk about this game. We're going to probably get into that very shortly. Obviously, the trade deadline is now looming. The Eagles in a situation where they are now buyers. They have to be. But what positions do you look at? Because we're now another week into a timeline where Deshaun Jackson isn't closer. He's kind of week to week to week to week. We don't know anymore. Do you go and get Robbie Anderson? We're looking at defensive backs where Ronald Darby and Jalen Mills are your starters now. Rasul Douglas has been benched again. So I feel like Rasul Douglas to me is going to be trade bait. I think he could be one of the names like kind of on the outside looking in. Same with Halapoulivaati Vaitai. That could be another name to watch. Matt Hollins, I don't think has any trade value, but just get rid of him at this stage, just for the sake of peace of mind. Got 60 of you in here, guys. Make sure you're just commenting on this chat. We want to see as many of you in this chat getting involved. We can read your comments out. Jay Wade says he wants wide receiver and linebacker. I would love to see a linebacker move at this. I think that was a glaring. I mean, Nate Gary today made another troubled play. I mean, it was, he came down. I think he had like 14 yards between him and Josh Allen, and he just storms down and allows a Cole Beasley touchdown over the top. It was a bit ugly. Shouldn't have done that. And, TJ Edwards flashed some nice plays. We did see a lot of Duke Riley today. He's a player that I've been, I'd say, interested in for quite some time now, since he was acquired by the Eagles in the Jonathan Cyprian trade that sent him to Atlanta. He's been quiet. He's just played special teams the last few weeks, but now he got some time on defense. That was cool to see. That was really cool to see. Again, I think his play was a bit mithered. We didn't see too much of him, like, flash production-wise, but he was out on the field. It's get some experience. And the Eagles need that right now. Like, whether you go out and you sign someone like Levante David is a different discussion. I would be all in on that move personally, especially given the Bucks situation right now. But that's tricky as well. And I think that the problem is, so to Gios right now saying, trade for... Dallas is 4-3. Well, lucky... No, they are 4-3, aren't they? Yeah, my bad, guys. They're 4-3. I've made a mistake on that one. I got a bit excited. I just predicted the future. That's all I did. I predicted the future. Don't get this on ESPN. But yeah, the problem is, Gios, with trading for a cornerback right now is that your corpse is healthy again, right? This is the corpse that the whole of the offseason, right, bearing in mind, from the end of last year to this point, it's not changed. They've not added anyone. They've not drafted anyone. They've not signed anyone. It's remained the same from start to finish, right? So you get to week 1, Darby and Mills both down. You're already depleted. That's when you're looking at trading for a guy. That's if you're going to miss the opening 8 games without Darby and Mills, essentially, or at least one of them, that's where you would trade for someone if you're not confident in your team or your position group. The fact that you're now 8 weeks in and both starters are back, if you trade for a cornerback now, it's sort of a sign where it's like it's too little too late. You had a whole draft where corners went through. You had whole of free agency. You've had if you're trading now, 8 weeks into a season, why weren't you doing that at the heart of the offseason? Like, if you were really uncomfortable with that group, with the players that you've got there, why were you not making moves earlier on? And that would be my worries. If you go out and you get a Chris Harris or, I don't want to say Jalen Ramsey again to bring up PTSD for everyone, but someone of that caliber, and then you do it now, it's like you should have done this months ago. You should have improved. If you're thinking these starters, these are your guys you get into the season with, and suddenly they're not good enough 8 weeks into a season, you should have addressed that. That's done. You were happy with these players into week 1. No one was batting an eyelid over the fact that Ronald Darby and Jalen Mills, other than me and a few others in the media, that were the corners. And I think that's the problem. What was Wentz thinking when he threw into double coverage? Probably bollocks, I want that throwback would be my first thought. It was probably like a lapse in communication or concentration, I should say, not communication. It's one he wanted back. Wentz wasn't electric through the air today, but the wind, I think, was so problematic. You could see it on a couple of open completions, one to Zach Ertz, another to Alshon Jeffrey, wide open. Ball just sailed, for lack of a better term. Real shame. The wind played an absolute nightmare. It's why Jordan Howard saw the most, I think, off the top of my head, don't quote me on this, alright? I think it's the most carries since the Garrett Blount 16 in 2017. I can't remember which game it was, but I did an article on it about a year ago about how the Eagles' backfield shaped out. And essentially, LeGarrette Blount run 16 times, and since that game, no other back carried for more than 16 times. And that remained the same through this season. They maxed that out. If you've got a rotation of running backs, that's what you want. You want a guy to go up to 16 times, and then go a little bit slow along, then you rotate them round, and you've got different roles for people, and that's what we saw with Miles Sanders, who was also brilliant today. Let's give credit where credit's due on that one. I think Miles Sanders was absolutely excellent. For all the criticisms that he's faced, I know he's been seen as this sort of niche receiver or a receiving back, but we're now seeing someone in the evolution of a Tariq Cohen type back. Now, he's not there yet. He's got a long way to go. But now he's getting experience under his belt. The legs keep moving. I think he's looking a lot more patient, I should say, behind the line of scrimmage. The vision looks improved. We're seeing a very different Miles Sanders. And that's great news for the Eagles. Absolutely great news for them. Every time someone says Ramsey, I think of Chris. Yeah, I think we all think of Chris. He's probably going to message me in the chat in a moment on Slack and have a go at me for bringing up Jalen Ramsey. 3 rushes for 74. For Miles Sanders on the day. I've obviously had the 65-yard run as well. Jay Wade, I'll be happy if we got Levante David, as would I. Jay to the ROC, nice to see you in the chat, my man. Again, guys, if you're new to the channel, this is your first time with us, hitting that subscribe button will be brilliant, but we would love to see you more than anything interacted in this chat. Let's get your questions on air. Let's have a chat. Let's talk about the Eagles, the deadline. I'm thinking, again, I need your opinion on this, actually, of doing a trade deadline stream on Thursday for a little bit. So I think the deadline's at 4, isn't it? So maybe, but I don't want to risk it and then something happens and I have to do a video and I can't because I'm straight. Like, that's the battle that we face. But if you'd be down for like 2-3 hours, end of the trade deadline, waiting for moves to come in, sat talking about the NFL, and I mean, if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know. I'll happily set that one up. I think that could be really fun. But yeah, that's a little idea we had cooking around. Oh, there we go. Sanders Authentic Extra Large coming. Oh, nice. Well, you've got to flex it. You've got to tag us on Twitter. Go on, at Philadelphia SN. Tag us on Twitter when you get that jersey, because I think that's going to be a look and a half. I don't know what jersey I'm going to buy this year yet. I normally buy one a year to try and like collect them. I don't know which one I buy. I've got a bad history with jerseys. My first ever Eagles jersey was Nick Foles in 2013. It was a bootleg one, and it was so stretchy, it was awful. I got LaShawn McCoy that year as well, like the away one, so I had home Foles, away McCoy. Both of them went that off-season. That was great. That was a great investment. Then I got a Sam Bradford jersey. That was good. And then I got a Carson Wentz jersey, like the black one. So that's my Eagles jersey history. The more you know. The more effective we play actual. Yeah, that's true. It'll be interesting to see the deadline stream though. I think that would be a lot of fun if you guys would be down for that. So, the main question is, if you could pick one trade target, who are you going after at this stage? Who is the one person that you're hedging the bets on and say, right, what's the trade you're doing? I will be an NFL kind of officiate right now, and I will grade your trades. Oh, what a series that is. Hashtag grade your trades. That'd be fun. Alright, so send me your trades in the chat. Oh, well, Siri's gone off. Sending, like, who are you sending off? Who are you getting in return? What's the score? What are we doing here? Is it going to be Vita and a third round pick for this guy? Is it going to be a corner in this for that guy? Let us know, because I'm very intrigued. I think my guys I would ship out would be, if you're requiring someone with a big contract, like a big time cap hit, someone like Geno Atkins. If you've seen my trade video, you know what I'm talking about. He's got an 11 mil cap hit for each of the next 3 years. If you have that, the Eagles need to negate it, right? That's when you can ship a player like Aguilar to the Bengals, who could probably do with it. I mean, they've got, AJ Green, Tyler Boyd. I don't know why receiver 3 would be good. They take up, $9 million. They lose 11, so they get a bit of a bonus. The Eagles already paying 9. An extra $2 million is not going to break the bank. And then they get themselves defensive tackle. The problem I have with that, though, is that long term, it hurts Malik Jackson and it hurts Timmy Jernigan. Now, Jernigan's only on a 1-year deal, so he might go. But you sign Malik Jackson with this progressive deal that does kind of rise over time. And if you do then end up parting ways after this year, or he comes back healthy, he's not a DT2 anymore, he's a DT3 on massive money, and you've got so much money locked up in that defensive tackle group, it's scary. So that'd be interesting. Isaac says a third and a fourth for Robbie Anderson. I don't know what to get it done at this point. I mean, I think they need offensive line help. Like, I think the Browns are calling around for that as well. So maybe Halapula, Vati, Vita. I don't think Mailata would go anywhere. They'd want someone serviceable. I think Vita is attractive because he's played NFL snaps, like significant ones, like NFC Championship game. He's played Super Bowl. He's been in important games for this Eagles team. He started at right tackle and left tackle. He's a versatile piece. He's not going to be a Joe Thomas or a Lane Johnson or some of the, forever regarded elite players at his position, but he's definitely going to be a player that is serviceable. And in this current situation, he's probably going to be the best if you're looking for offensive line depth you can get. Jay Wade says a 7th round pick to the Saints and you get back Patrick Robinson. Yeah, I'd be with that. Again, my problem is, I think, going for a nickel cornerback, the Avonte Maddox is going to come back soon. And then you're going to have, Mills, Darby, Maddox, Douglas. Obviously, then Patrick Robinson will be involved. Sidney Jones is going to be there. A 6th for Devontae Parker, I'll be all in on. I don't know if Miami would probably want more. They're tanking for Tua. They could do with a bit of a rebuild. They may end up giving just a bit of a push there for a 5th rounder. I think I might be more inclined to take Parker over Anderson just because he gives a bit more of a complete skill set. Like, Anderson is very much Deshaun Jackson, which is fine until you have Deshaun Jackson back. My main mantra here would be, you've got J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, okay? Someone that you drafted at 6'5" after working out guys like Jalen Hurd, who were known as these big slot receivers. Now, my next move comes in revamping that, right? Get rid of Nelson Aguilar, trade Aguilar. I know he's got a $9 million cap hit. Half of it, you could probably get a 5th round pick, I reckon, for Aguilar at this point. Bearing in mind, last year of contract, so he's technically a pending free agent, carries a $9 million hit. Hasn't been that productive. Between a 3rd and a 5th, depending on the team, and I don't know, logistics of trades and that sort of thing. That's what I'd be theorising. Get Aguilar out, and you either bring back Jordan Matthews, who I don't know why people hate Jordan Matthews. I really, really don't. Like, from 2014, he was like the most productive slot receiver in the NFL by a mile. Call it system all you want, I don't care. 2018, he comes back, he plays WR2, he has some huge games for the Eagles in clutch situations. Like, I don't care if people, like, despise that. I don't know why. He's the nicest guy as well. Like, that's it. I've spoken to him, like, 4, maybe 5 times. Like, 2 interviews with him at phillysportsnetwork.com. Nicest guy you can meet. It's not like he's a dickhead or he's a horrible guy and he's bad for the locker room and he's unproductive. Or he's unproductive and constantly dropping balls and constantly making mental errors. He's about as consistent as it gets. Like, yes, he had drop issues in the past, but not at all in 2018. And as a free agent, he's not going to cost you that much money. He's going to be dirt cheap. It's going to be a veteran's minimum deal. You probably lose a compensatory pick, but the guy works his ass off. He's best friends with Carson Wentz. Fun fact, all right, here's a fun fact for you. Wow, my hand looked really big then. Did you know, okay, that Carson Wentz's dog, Henley, had puppies, and he gave one to Jordan Matthews in their first year together? I know that because Jordan told me. The more you know. So, not only are they best friends, but their puppies and their dogs are related. How good is that, right? The more you know. He caught a lot because a lot was thrown at him. Yeah, Victor, you can say that about Zach Ertz, though, last year. Do you know what I mean? Like, anyone that you throw a lot at is going to catch a lot of balls. And the fact that you want Carson Wentz to throw a lot of balls at him says a lot. Like, if there wasn't a lot of guys around him, fair point. But someone's catching those balls. He could have easily not caught those balls. And at the end of the day, I think you're in a situation where we're criticising a receiving group for not... Like, what is Matt Collins doing? All right, let me position that to you then, Victor. Like, would you prefer Jordan Matthews or Matt Collins? Because to me, the answer is dead obvious. Like, Matt Collins does nothing but wave his arms around and gets penalised. That's it. That's the extent of his skill set right now, outside of a core special teams player who literally told people that he prefers playing special teams. He likes special... He doesn't want to play offense. He just likes playing special teams. All right? Great. But you can see that in his play. Like, he looks like a deer in headlights. He's lost half the time. So, to me, putting Jordan Matthews back in the slot instead, like, what are you losing? You're actually gaining a receiver who can run routes, who's physical during the stem. And I thought you saw a much more, like, diverse Jordan Matthews last year. Like, if you go back and watch the tape, especially that New Orleans game, he was really physical in his routes. He bullied his way through the stem, was more aggressive at the catch point. Do you know what? Like, I think he's developed a little bit. Like, he may not have the best catch record in the world, or he may have drops to his name and stuff, but for a team that has so much noise around them, and anonymous sources, and all this, that, and the other, like, he is the hardest working, most humble, down-to-earth guy that just so happens to be best mates with your quarterback. What's the problem in bringing that in? What damage does it do in bringing J-Matt home? It doesn't do any. I would be a bit reluctant if I'm Matthews, though, the fact I've now been cut 3 times by them. So that would be... I'd be a bit... At this point, I'm kind of looking like... It's like an ex, isn't it, that keeps messing you around and bringing you back in and dropping you again. At some point, you're going to have to look at it and go, sorry, love, I deserve better. Although he's just been cut by the Niners, so I don't know. Bit of a weird one. We're going into podcast territory now, but it's an interesting debate. That's obviously the cheap option, right? That you go in, you pick up Jordan Matthews, doesn't do any harm whatsoever. But I would take him over Nelson Aguilar at this stage. Happily take him over Nelson Aguilar at this stage. Dan Kennedy says, why not take a chance on AB because he's the best out there? I don't disagree with you. I think he is the best out there. He's also a headache and a half, and that is the last thing this team needs right now. I mean, like, we're coming off a very tough, I think, situation. Hang on, let me just quickly mute that one. There we go. Is my audio a bit bad? Audio sounds really bad. Sorry. Like, you look at the headache he caused New England, or like, and the thing is, if New England cut him after that period, that's something worth worrying about. Like, Oakland took an entire off-season. Could you imagine a situation where he starts leaking phone calls of Doug Peterson? It's bad enough with anonymous sources. Like, AB's fine. I think the guy genuinely has some mental health concerns, and that's not me saying it for clout or anything. Like, I mean, I'm a massive advocate for mental health stuff. I've had them sponsor this stream and put things down there for charities for people to talk about. Like, as someone that deals with mental health, I think there is an element of, like, everyone says CTE. I don't think it is. It's literally, to me, either bipolar or depression or something like anxiety, where he's spiraling, and he's got an agent in Drew Rosenhaus telling him exactly what he wants to hear. That, oh yeah, man, you're the best in the world. I'm just going to lick your ass a little bit more because you're going to make me millions of dollars. And he's just been fed into this world of, I'm the best now, and he's lost sight of that underdog, that journey that he took to get there. And suddenly he's become a diva to his own mind, and it's heartbreaking. Like, this is a guy that signed one of the biggest extensions in history, one of the biggest contracts in NFL history, and pissed it all away. For what? For what? Because of a helmet? And then he goes to New England, has a second chance, goes again. You don't need that. Like, right now you've got anonymous sources, you've got chemistry problems, you've got people going to media, you've got Orlando Scandrick going to the media. Like, nah, you just don't add to that. If I'm taking Jordan Matthews or Antonio Brown, never thought I'd say this out loud, but I'm taking Jordan Matthews because you don't need the noise that Antonio brings. You want a culture guy that's going to come in and cultivate someone like Arcega-Whiteside, and someone that maybe is struggling like a Matt Collins, someone that can link back with Deshaun Jackson and never had the opportunity to play. Like, that would be, that was the Eagles. Imagine an offense in, 2014, had Jackson not gone, with Jordan Matthews in the slot, and then Deshaun Jackson outside. It would have been amazing. Very different parallel universe. Young Aku says, think we trade for Slay. I'd love to see it happen. I don't think it will. Mainly, but I don't think they trade for a DB at this point. I really don't. Mainly because, again, it goes back to your trading starters. Your trading starters, which should have been done at the start of the season. I don't think that trading for any cornerback at this stage is going to fix your defense. It's just not. There's too much schematically wrong with it. Jalen Ramsey would be one of the lone people that I think probably would get away. It'd certainly add a bonus to it. Like, he would improve it. He wouldn't magically fix it. Those problems wouldn't vanish overnight all of a sudden. And I think we'd see a very similar thing with Darius Slay. Like, it doesn't matter who you get, because you're still playing 10 yards off the ball. You're still going to get a lack of safety help, and you're still going to get attacked from other areas, and you're still going to play the same stupid third down defense, and you're still going to have the same deficiencies of linebacker. Like, it doesn't matter who you trade for at corner, but you're benching a starter or trading a starter. If you bench one, you've got even more headaches on your hands, especially if it's Jalen Mills, who bizarrely in 2 games has looked very good. Like, and that says a lot, but he's done it, okay? So if you bench Mills? Or do you bench Darby? Because Darby's just come back, made a big play. It's really tough. Like, they've left it too late. Week 5, there's a lot of noise around the cornerback room. Darby's playing woeful. Sidney Jones is being burnt, and the experiment's over. That's when you pull the trigger. Bang, you rebuild it. Right now, you're back to full health. Darby and Mills are playing relatively well. Maddox comes back soon. I don't think they trade for him. And it's heartbreaking. It's low. Oh, no. Is that better? Volume's low? Oh, no, hold on. Let me play this.
I deserve better.
Oh, no. I'm only worried now. Is it low?
It's really tough.
Oh, it was low. Oh, Jesus, I'm sorry. This isn't going well. I think that should be a little bit better now. But JJ needs more snaps is something that we're seeing in the chat. I agree. I think that Arcega-Whiteside does need to see the film more, or field more. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because you're not going to get better without experience, and you need experience to get better. And it's like, unless they're going to put him on the field, like, what's the point? Like, I would rather have Arcega-Whiteside out there than Hollins. Like, Hollins has done nothing. He's playing like 80 snaps a game and he's doing nothing. Like, nothing. I don't know how much more I can emphasize the word nothing, but he's not catching. He's barely running routes. He waves his arms around in confusion. It's bizarre. I don't get how he... Yeah, Cravon's coming back. Of course, Young Aki. My apologies. Yeah, Captain Cravon, I think after this week can be activated again. I don't know, obviously, what the plan's going to be with him, but I would love to see him back. Just for the Captain Cravon movement. It's been a while. Captain Cravon hoodies, you can get at phillysportsnetwork.com. Personal creation, what can I say? But yeah, what else do you guys say? We got 23 likes on the stream, still close to 70 of you watching along right now. So thank you again for taking the time out of your evening to watch this stream with us. If you've got anything you want to talk about, that'll be ow, oh god, there we go. If you've got anything, it's gone again. Audio issues.
Cravon's coming back, of course.
There we go. It's going well, this. Yeah, Med Money, I know I made a mistake with the picture. My bad. Terribly sorry. Oh, I got a bit excited. My bad. But yeah, if you're new around here, if you're just tuning into the stream, let us know. Get in the chat with us. We would love for you to join our live chat. We've got a lovely community where everyone's lovely all the time, definitely, and no one ever says a rude word ever. So if you want to be a part of that, again, we have videos normally 5 or 6 days a week. Articles at phillysportsnetwork.com. If you want to follow me on Twitter, at Liam Jenkins PSN. Philadelphia Sports Network is at Philadelphia SN. And yeah, we love to have you as part of our community. Victor says Seahawks and Patriots coming in next. Defense will be burnt to crisp. Yeah, that's a worry. Obviously, you've got the Bears as well. So three tough games. I know the Bears... What I don't want happening is this Bills game going down as some great, incredible defensive effort and the team being, oh, we're amazing, you all doubted us. Like, no, behave. It was one game. You should have won it anyway. If you lost it, there'd be massive concerns. But I don't want this to then go to Chicago, who are really struggling right now, where Mitch Trubisky is looking like a train wreck at quarterback. And then the Eagles defense get gifted a win. They're going to get gifted a lot of opportunities from Trubisky. They've done it before. They did it in the playoffs, right? And then all of a sudden, defense is fixed, defense is fine, not a problem, baby. And they get complacent before you then face Seattle and New England. Because those are two teams that will punish you, that will put you through your paces, and just make an absolute mess of it. So, the Pats game, the Eagles, I know always play them close. You go back to 2015, you look at that incredible Sam Bradford effort, which will forever go down as one of the most iconic games in Eagles history. I'm being sarcastic, but it was a good game though. And then the Seahawks game, the Seahawks have been in, the Eagles' heads for as long as I can remember. I genuinely can't remember the last time the Eagles beat the Seahawks. Why would adversity be a reason to play well? It's an identity thing, Victor. I think at this point, if you look at this team, can you name me a time since 2016 this Eagles team has gone on a run without getting the hell beat out of them first? Because I can't. It's like they need to be underdogs. They need that chip to get, everyone doubts us. And I can kind of relate in some way. Like if someone says I can't do something or something I do is bad or they hate me or I should stick to soccer, I go out and I push harder to prove them wrong. Like it's a mentality thing. And without that, Philly Sports Network wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be on as many subscribers as we are because you lovely people wouldn't have cared what I had to say. And that sort of thing. Like it's definitely a mentality thing, but I don't know why it takes them so long to get that. Like why can't they approach every day with that I'm not good enough, I have to go out and beat the man next to me, as opposed to we need to dig ourselves such a deep hole that we need to play above and beyond for any chance to creep out of it again, and then get applauded for the crawl out. Like, don't dig yourself a hole to begin with. Like, that's the thing. I don't know what it is. Like, why they need adversity to play well. Why should it be a thing? It adds to it. It definitely adds to the identity of the team. Why it has to become a staple of it. Like, even 2018, it was targets on their backs, right? That was the mantra from Doug Peterson. Targets on their backs. Everyone's coming to take our crown. And that took about 9 weeks. They went 3-4 through their first 7 games again, and they went on a 6-3 run to end the season. So, it's really tough. Billy Covington Jr., thank you for tuning into the stream, my man, says, what kind of trade do we need to do? I would say, again, at this point, it's either you ship out Nelson Aguilar and you either bring in Jordan Matthews or you bring in maybe Robbie Anderson or a slot receiver, just someone to fill the void a bit. It's one of those weird ones, isn't it? I don't know, that slot receiver is one of them. Linebacker for me is a much more pressing issue. Defensive tackle is a pressing issue. Cornerback, I'd give up on at this point. There's no effort in bringing someone in because you've already schematically ruined the team. My eyes would be on probably, if I'm going to rank them in terms of priority, defensive tackle, linebacker, wide receiver. Those would be the 3. I think wide receiver you can very easily fix now by getting rid of Nelson Aguilar, putting in Jordan Matthews. Who would want Aggie? Any team that needs any kind of remote wide receiver production. I mean, he's a good gadget player. He's very much like a Golden Tate type asset. And I think that's why the Eagles traded for Golden Tate to begin with. They weren't getting that production. And that always blew my mind because, Golden Tate came into this situation where there were already 2 slot receivers on the team. You've got Nelson Aguilar, you've got Jordan Matthews. There was no real home for him there. It was always going to be tricky to implement. And by the time the Eagles figured it out, it was sort of too little too late. So that was always really bizarre to me. So what team would want Nelson Aguilar? I would say at the minute, a team that's on the cusp of playoffs, a team that's on the cusp of maybe just pushing for a wild card spot or someone like that. Arguably a Houston or an Oakland or someone like that does have that kind of potential to push on. There are a couple of players away maybe. And it's a 9 mil hit, but it has to be a case of you're swallowing cap hit, you'd best get production from it. And you're right, if that's the mentality from you, dread to think what other teams are going to be. It's we're kind of paying them. It's hey, if you take Nelson Aguilar off us, we'll give you a 5th round pick. That would be the kind of trade it has to be, unless you just cut him. I think cutting him, though, would be a much bigger statement. A much bigger statement to the team. Forget, cutting Akeem Spence and Orlando Scandrick and Zach Brown, who were all signed this offseason as veterans, or apart from a Spence who was mid-season, but who were next to nothing, didn't cost you a penny. Nelson Aguilar you've invested in. This is a draft pick that's been here since 2015 or 2014. That, again, former first round pick worth $9.3 million this year. That's the sort of player that you go, do you know what? If $9.3 million isn't safe, your 11's not safe, your 12's not safe, your 10.5 guaranteed next year, Olshan's not safe. Set a precedent. Get rid of Aguilar, put either Arthega Whiteside in the slot or Nelson Aguilar in the slot. No, not Nelson Aguilar. Jordan Matthews in the slot and let it rumble. That would be my move. My main move kind of moving forward. As for trading a linebacker or should they get Levante David, I think the Bucks could be open for it. Their season's in turmoil. They could probably use the extra boost. As Jay says, JTrap321, thanks for tuning in. And Colts leader receiver. Multi Apples says predictions for the rest of the season. Ooh. I don't know. All right, so the next few games, obviously, they beat the Bills. You've now got Chicago, Seattle, New England, which you may be taking a win or two. I'd say 2 wins. You probably drop one to New England or Seattle. From there, you go and face Miami. That should be a win. And then you've got 4 divisional games to close the season, which I think they'll drop another 1, maybe 2. So, end of the season, 8-8 or 9-7. I think it's going. Like 9-7 is hopeful. 8-8 is realistic. 7-9 is pessimistic. There's 3 different levels. All of them justifiable. You can make a case for 7-9 very easily right now. You can make a case for 8-8 very easily right now. 9-7 you have to probably push a bit more. But the fact that you've still got Washington, 2 New York Giants games, and another game against the Dallas Cowboys, which is at home, you can at least get 3 wins, right? Which automatically pushes you to 7. So that's 7. It's like, but then can you push on for the extra win or not? Who knows? That would be my prediction there. But again, let me know your predictions, guys, down below. That'd be great. 30 likes on this stream. That is absolutely mad. Thank you so much for the support. That is genuinely incredible. Looking at fantasy football while I'm listening. All right. Let's check my fantasy football. Because the PSN Fantasy Football League has not gone well for me recently. I've dipped massively. I don't know what's going on. I need a bit of help. Where are we? Fantasy football. I don't know where it is. There it is. I can let you know where all the PSN writers are as well. So, I'm not winning this matchup. Apparently, I've got a 32% chance of winning, which is good. Where are we? Okay, so in the league, so Matt Stinger's winning. Derek Bob's 6th. Where is, I know, Thomas, right? Everyone loves Thomas here. Thomas, who always hosts these shows with me, he's 2-5. LJ's 4-3, so just saying. I wish, we go. So we've got Jake, Chris is 3rd. Chris is on 5-2. Brian's 3-4. So we've gone through all of our equals writers. There you go. For anyone that remotely cares about how we're doing in our fantasy leagues this year. I'd like to have more wide receiver depth rather than more RB. Screen game isn't. Yeah, I mean, hey, the good news is there were no screens to Alshon Jeffrey tonight, right? Beggars can't be choosers. Baby steps. That was good. A good improvement, right? I know you talked about how he's drafting chops. Any more thoughts? I don't know. I think how he's drafting to me isn't on how he's drafting. As weird as that sounds. So I would put it down to coaching. It's a little from column A and column B. You can't say Howie Roseman's bad at drafting, and you can't say the Eagles can't develop players. Because there are exceptions to both rules. It's definitely a blend of both, though. Because obviously you spend months getting to know these players. You should know what you're getting. I think that the problem comes in the fact that you bring a player in like the only one that I think from, I guess, when he was drafted to now that has shown really improvement. There's 2 that come to mind. Not Sidney Jones, Jesus. Rasul Douglas and Dallas Goedert. Outside of that, I know Carson Wentz is sort of in his own tree because they brought in Press Taylor to begin with. After a beautiful quarterback coach was signed before. They literally built that whole thing with John DeFilippo around Carson Wentz. It was Andrew Peterson, you had Reich, you had DeFilippo, all there, former quarterbacks to help his growth. All right, they really invested in that. They really did. So you can exclude Carson Wentz because, again, 2nd overall pick. You expect him to be a franchise quarterback. If he is not, he is a Jameis Winston or a Marcus Mariota, and you're fundamentally disappointed and you're close to a rebuild again. The fact that Wentz is panning out exactly as expected is exactly as expected. That's not a great monumental pick. It's a good pick for what you put into it. Anything outside of that, Andre Dillard, I like what I've seen so far, but it's way too early. The same as Miles Sanders. I like what I've seen, but it's too early. Clayton Dawson, I won't play the song. That didn't go well. Donnell Pumphrey went. But there is that kind of recency bias, and I know Ben Solak put like a podcast out recently stating the same, where for every one player where you're like, oh, the Eagles took Pumphrey, but the Bears had Tariq Cohen, or the Colts had Marlon Mack. Like, yeah, but you've then got a million other players that were drafted who you don't mention in that same breath or that same conversation, because they also turned out to be nothing. Because the NFL draft is just a potluck shoot to develop talent. But you can make the case that the linebacker coach, the defensive line coach, the wide receivers coaching that have always changed, like that they're not developing players. Because you've now gone from micro to the former UNC coach, I forget his name now, from last year. He's gone. And obviously then they brought in another guy this year. So you've got 3 different coaches in 3 years. Matt Collins has done nothing. Shelton Gibson was a failure. Bryce Treggs did nothing. Paul Turner did nothing. These are players, drafted or signed by the team as UDFAs. Greg Ward was one of the only ones that has actually developed, and that's still not enough to make the final 53. So you can look at coaching and say, why aren't these players developing? Like, what has any player drafted by the Eagles outside of Goddard, Douglas, who's been serviceable, which is a 3rd round pick, you should be, right? That's your aim as a 3rd round pick, to be serviceable as a backup. Who's exceeded your expectations from 2016, or even going back to 2011, when Roseman was kind of drafting or had a hand in it to now? Gary stood out today. Yeah, Gary, he had an interesting game, had a few big tackles. He obviously had the whiff on that Josh Allen touchdown. I think he's just he's an instinctive. No, he's a reactive player, not an instinctive player, and that can hurt him. So he can just read a play and be like, whoa, and fly down. He's like a second or two off of what everyone else is doing, which doesn't really help him too much. But he's developing, and he kind of has to, because he's been thrown into the fire right now. Philly Luke says, what position do I think the Eagles trade for? Thanks for tuning in, Luke. Although he says, do you know who Dees is? And then got me with a Dees nuts. So I'll read it out just so he can get me, because I want to, make sure he feels accomplished for the joke. So, Dees, do I know who Dees is? Dees who? Then you can say Dees nuts. And now you've got me. You Dees nuts, LJ. Proud of you. There you go. See, I'm a man of the people. What can I say? In terms of what position do I think, again, it's going to be linebacker, defensive line, or probably wide receiver. I don't know anything else, if I'm honest. It's not going to be cornerback. It's not going to be safety. You're not looking at offensive line. In terms of players that are trading, I think it's going to be Douglas, Vaitai, or Aguilar would be the 3 that I immediately point to. You can make an argument at this point that anyone outside of Carson Wentz is probably expendable. Like, you see what I mean? Maybe Andre Dillard, you can put into the conversation, anyone from this draft. But 90% of people, you can make an argument where, do you know what? You can get by. Like, if it's the right trade and the right move and you're going to blockbuster get someone, you can make the argument. And I know what I don't like is that there's been a lot of Zach Ertz talk on that regard. A lot of people coming in, they don't like Zach Ertz. They want Zach Ertz out of the equation. They want him gone. Because you've got Dallas Goedert. The problem with that is that you've only then got one tight end on the entire roster. Not good. Not good at all. So maybe in the off-season when, you get to contract talks and that sort of thing. As of right now, no, I can't see it. But if we get into that point, then you can make a case that players are expendable. And if you find out who that anonymous source is, I don't care who it is, go. Trade him. Get him gone. Make a statement. If it was Aguilar, 9.3 million, make a statement. There has to be a statement move from this team now. You've had a statement win. You've got to come in and just make a point. Like, say, look, we want a new norm. Like, what was the new norm in Philadelphia now? Let's make a change. Go out there and just force something. Force a chemical reaction of, oh my God, they're not. At the minute, right, if you're a defensive lineman and you see Akeem Spence being cut, it's, ooh, wow, oh no. Like, you're not gonna think, oh my God, my job's in jeopardy. They're coming down hard and they're cutting people. You're thinking, great. Yeah, man, well, no, I made a mistake on the Dallas thing. I don't think I can add anything. Wait, maybe I can. Hang on, watch this. I've got an idea. Everyone keeps pointing out the Dallas thing, so for the last 20 minutes, right, I'm going to... I don't know where that went. I've got a number 3 somewhere. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, it's backwards. There we go. Are you happy now? Right? Is that better? Don't say I don't try. Monte Cristo says Darby did his thing, he covered well. Yeah, he really did. I'll hold my hands up. I'm not going to be one side of the fence and not applaud him. Like, at the end of the day, I'm a reporter, right? Like, I'm unbiased. I'm not going to sit here and be like, Derby stinks, and then when he plays well, ignore it. The guy had a good game. And he made that one really big play on third down. He's got to be commended for it. Like, especially first game back off injury. Now, there were tougher assignments to have on your first game back from injury, but at the end of the day, I think he played quite well. He held his own. And he's deserving of compliments, really, more than anything. Like, the scheme felt different, unlike when Mazur was... I don't know if the scheme felt different. Like, I need to go to the tape and look at that, because I genuinely don't know how much changed. Like, I think the last 3 games have been a mess in terms of coverages. Like, I don't know what they're doing. But maybe because they conceded less, or Josh Allen was unable to do anything. Dallas 443. There you go. Maybe just cover them up. Just cover Dallas up. Just pretend they're not there. 443. They've lost 443 games now. There you go. It's much better. Victor Rodriguez in the stream. Thank you for tuning in, my man. I don't like Jalen Mills. I don't know. Like, I'm not against him. I'm not his biggest fan. But I think he does bring that kind of character and passion to a defense that at the time was sorely lacking it. Like, if we roll back 2 weeks where Sidney Jones was being absolutely ruined, by Malcolm Jenkins during the game, post-game, alright, there was a lack of confidence, there was a lack of heart, there was just, there was like a drag. It was like, what is his secondary? Where's the identity? Where is his team? And people going, like what? Oh my God, like Sidney Jones, I've got no confidence, I'm hurt, my hamstring. Jalen Mills comes in and it's I've got green hair, right? And I think they needed that. Like, they needed someone to just galvanise that secondary a bit. And whether he got burnt, whether he did a finger wag, whatever, he added that. And they kind of needed that, I think, for now. But Cravon will get healthy. We'll have our king back soon, young Aku. Don't you worry. Captain Cravon will return and all will be right in the world again. So don't you worry about that. Sidney Jones, I don't know. I think, a trade would probably make sense. I don't think they're going to cut him anytime soon. He's still... I mean, the thing is, like, he's so flashy. Like, he'll make really good plays and then just get bodied. Like, absolutely bodied. I don't think he's as bad as people make out. There are plays that you look at and you're like, that's not acceptable. And then there are other ones where he'll make them the other DBs on this roster just can't. So, there is still potential there. He does still have something to give. How much of that is going to be harnessed, I don't know. No more Foles talk. No, there was never Foles talk. Never Foles talk. Like, at least not here. At least not here. There was the only thing I ever said was that they will not tag and trade him because I had a source of the situation that was also part of that New England Patriots tag and trade before that said they won't tag and trade. So I put a report out saying they will not tag and trade him. I had everyone come at me for it saying, I'm not listening there, you're British, but you know, tag and trade. It's like, no, they're not going to. Behave. No. And it didn't happen. That's it. Like, I mean, like, it's hard as media, I think, to look at it objectively and go, oh, well, Nick Foles is Nick Foles. I hate it. I hate when it gets brought up because it shouldn't. You don't see it in other sports. You don't see it with other teams. It's just because of what he won. But it's one player. And it happened. And it's done now. Carson's is... the Eagles have done... okay, my bad, Monty. But yeah, like, I think overall, everyone just... They like to harp on it because it gets a reaction from fans. Right? Like, if I sit here and I say... Nick Foles should be the quarterback, right? This chat would go mental, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, I could sit here and all I've got to say is Nick Foles would do better now than Carson Wentz. And the chat would blow up. And national media knows that. Philadelphia is the second biggest sports market in America, right? They know that. They know that fans are going to react like dynamite if they hear Nick Foles. Because he is this sacred, like statue level athlete, player, icon, hero that you talk about him once or you say he should be here, should be there, people are going to pipe up. And that's the nature of it. So unfortunately, that's the world we live in, right? Let's say every game looks like the Eagles lost. Every game Eagles lost because takeaways. Yeah, I'd say that or a lack of them on defense. I would say a lack of discipline. I would say a lack of passion at times, a lack of effort at times, and just complacency all around. Complacent play calling, complacent execution for everything. Like across the board, there was no one thing that stood out saying the Eagles have lost games this season because of turnovers, takeaways, drops, 2 drops, fumbles, whatever. It's not. It's just they're complacent as anything. Like, and this was the one game I think we've seen where the execution may not have been there just yet, but it was certainly a long way to being improved. It was certainly better than what we saw before. So do you know what? Like, I'll take it. It's a much better team than what we've seen in the last few weeks. Eagle E, nice to see you in the chat. That Atlanta loss hurts from young Aku. I know it does. Yeah, I mean, I think the last thing we need right now is another injured wide receiver. It's a nightmare. What an irony with Foles. Yeah, do you know what? That's heartbreaking, to be fair, for Nick Foles, for Gardner Minshew to come in. But is that not Tony Romo? In a way, like, lovable guy. I'm not saying, oh, please don't, Chris. See, that's what I mean. Tony Romo's another one, right? Don't shout me down for that. But in terms of quarterback figures in the NFL, he played the game the right way. Always, like, nice to the media. Does stuff for fans and charities and stuff. Like, as a guy, as an actual man, regardless of, he was drafted by a team he had no control over. Like, it's the same. Nick Foles is that same sort of guy. Nice, down to earth. Fans love him. Does stuff for the community. And then injury happens and a rookie comes in and you hate it. Like, I hate stuff like that because it would take, even like Carson Wentz, like, it would take so much of you to be happy for that guy and not be bitter and not wish you were there and not take it personally and want what's best for the team. Like, it must be so difficult to be like, hey, do you know what? It's your show. It's your show. Like, it's really hard. So, like, massive respect to Foles, who came back to Philly as a backup, finally gets starting reins, ripped away again, and now we don't know if he's going to get him back. Like, it's really tricky to see. So yeah, like you don't like seeing it, and I hope that he does get back in the reins. But if you're Jacksonville, I guess you ride the hot hand at least. Black Mamba 24, nice to see you in the chat, my man. We've got 36 likes on this stream. We've got 10 minutes to go. If we can get it to 50 likes, I'll give away a hoodie. All right, how's that? We've got 60 of you. 36 likes, alright? If we can get to 50, I'll give away a PSN hoodie. Have I got a picture of a PSN hoodie, I hear you ask? Well, maybe. Give me a minute. Let me see what I can dig up here. I'm going to keep trying to read the chat as well as it comes through, and I'm trying to find this image, which I know I've got somewhere on my computer, but this is a hoodie you could be playing for, if I can find it somewhere, presumably. You can see me really focusing on this. I forget you can see my face. There we go. One of these bad boys. Ready? Ooh, look at that. Ooh. 50 likes, I'll give one away. Alright, I've just given one away on like the last video for getting 250. And it's got PSN season on the back. Can I get that up without looking... hi Giovanni, nice to see you in the stream. Thank you for tuning in. Dan Kennedy says we got smoked by Dallas. Agreed, I think that's just... Well, it's a 43. Jesus, you want the hoodie? Keep on coming, 44. Come on, we need 6 more. And we get the hoodie done. Alright, that was a huge reaction. I was not expecting that. Fully can get Antonio Brown for free. Yeah, and they'll also need to get a lot of paracetamol and headache tablets because it would drive them wild. Give out 2 first rounders for Julio Jones. I can't see him getting out of Atlanta. He's like the one valuable asset they have right now. I would like one of those. Oh, dude, they're beautiful. They are beautiful. I'm not just saying out of bias. I buy all of my own merch because, you know, I'm proud of it. I wouldn't buy stuff that I wouldn't wear myself. Like, I buy it. I kind of do it as like a little, almost like a hybrid streetwear thing because, you know, you want to flex in a way and look good, feel good, play good, all that. But also, it's like a community thing. And if you see someone now in the street walking around with a PSN season hoodie on, you're naturally like, oh my God, Philly Sports Network. Like, that's cool. Like, I love Philly Sports Network, hopefully. And that's what's nice. Like, I've had like a couple stories before where people are at music events and seen Philly Sports Network shirts. So this is what the back of it looks like. Lovely, innit? I know. And there's all different colours and stuff. You can choose which one you want. But yeah, it's like if you then see someone wearing a PSN season hoodie, you're like, oh my God, that's cool. And like we naturally have that one thing in common. Oh no, I've removed something there. That's not good. Right, I broke my stream a bit, lads. I'm going to have to put this here and just dope that. I know it's a bit of green. There we go. That'll do. We'll put that there. Right, we're on 53 likes. So you guys have done it. Ha, no hoodie. No, I'm kidding. Right. We need to think of a competition. We've got 7 minutes to go. I would say then, how should we do this? How should we do? I've got really tufted hair there sticking up as well. Let's do a. Oh, I don't know. There's so many ways we can do this. All right. Let's say the first person. No, we won't do that. Okay. All right. So what we'll do, same as normal. Put as many comments in the chat as you can. All right. Over the next 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and what we'll do is at the end of 3 minutes is I'll scroll around up and down, land on a random name, and whoever it lands on gets a hoodie. Alright, we'll do that. I think that's a nice fair way of doing it. So get your comments in the chat if you're new around here. If you've not yet subscribed, this is the time. Hey, if I give away a hoodie and you're not subscribed, I will cry my eyes out. I hope you realise that. Wait, Liam, I think it's time for the Miles Sanders Jordan Howard song. I don't know if I've got it saved. It was on an old video. Oh, I might have to give some more. Give everyone a hoodie. Dude, I would if I could. It would cost me a crazy amount of money, which unfortunately I don't have right now. But I try and give away one a stream at least, or like one a video. I just love the absolute spam going in. It's brilliant. Best slogan for the Eagles. Oh, I like the no-fly zone. I've always liked no-fly zone. I think that's pretty cool. They can't let Malcolm go till they find a good replacement. That's fine. Giovanni, thank you for the love, man. That's truly amazing. Like, I'm really happy that you enjoy this content that we have here. Oh, well, everyone's going in on these comments now, aren't they? Okay, right. Okay. Let's see what we can do. Steve Rogers, great teaming by the Eagles, great team effort. Oh, I'm surprised how good they were. Dylan just says hoodie. He knows what he wants. Chris says, I attended the game. It was awesome. Happy birthday to you, Chris Peterson. I hope you had a fantastic day. Liam, it's going to come down to consistent play calling. Doug only called the second half. Well, yeah, I agree with that one. Oh my God, I didn't expect there'd be this many reactions in the chat. This is going to break my heart, isn't it? I feel like I'm doing a talent show and someone's going to draw the short straw. Clayton, I'll play the Clayton Dawson song as well then. We'll have a hoodie and the Clayton Dawson song. All right, so you've got 1 minute until it hurts 26 past. I think it's 4:26 there. Because it'd be 5:26 normally, but the clocks went back here, so my body clock's all gone. Beat Dallas. That's the next big one. Geez, man, you guys are going in. Like, you really want... Isaac, Mark, and Stephen really want these hoodies. Jesus. PSN, best Philly reporters, I think. Faith, you are incredible. Thank you so much. That's the best compliment we could ever receive. Like, I'm glad that we can add some value to your day. That's absolutely amazing. And that's what we tried to be. We just want to bring fresh stuff to the table. Right, guys. I think we're almost there. I'm watching this minute because there's going to be some dodgy entries. Right, the minute is done. The eyes are shut. I'm making sure it's scrolling. All right, we're scrolling up and down. It's going to land on a name, and whoever it lands on is going to win a hoodie. All right, just moving the mouse up and down, and it lands on... Who's that? Isaac Tunius. There he goes. So all of his comments spam paid off. Isaac, you've won yourself a PSN hoodie. I know you follow me on Twitter, which makes this a little bit easier, so no one's just going to shout at me and go, hey, I'm this guy, lol. We've had that before. So Isaac, send me a DM on Twitter, mate, and I will get that to you either tomorrow or in the next couple of days, and we'll get it sorted, because Santa... We need Christmas merch. We need PSN... Right, if there would be an ugly PSN Christmas sweater, would you buy it? Because I would buy 5, and I'm going to make them for December, because it's going to happen. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the stream almost. Have a quick soppy goodbye in a moment. But big shout out to Isaac. Congratulations on winning. We'll give away another hoodie on tomorrow's video. Don't worry, if you've not won, well, basically anyone not, that's not Isaac, but... Lesson learned, spam like crap for hoodies. Yeah, pretty much. Basically, what we'll do, though, is every video we have a like goal now. If we smash that, we'll give away a hoodie. All right? That's a fair deal. I mean, it costs me more money than I make, so it's a fair deal for you guys. So, tomorrow's video will come out around 6 p.m. It'll be This Week in Philadelphia Sports, which is a weekly recap of everything that happens in Philadelphia sports. It's one of my favourite thing to do on this channel outside of the podcast and the live stream is This Week in Philadelphia Sports. It's just a really sarcastic, really sassy recap of the week. So stay around here. Quantity over quality. Oi, best to be referencing our channel because we'll have chats, Victor. No, genuinely though, I'm really excited for it. So I think it will set a like goal of like 250 to 300. If we smash that, we'll give away another one to a random commenter. So that's what's going to be the way we play things moving forward. But guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's stream. Your comments have been unbelievably supportive. Like, it honestly blows my mind, seeing like Faith's comment and people who really enjoy this. Like, it's a blessing and a half to be in this position where after a game, we can come on, we've got like 70 of us all in a live chat, all talking about the Eagles. And I say it every week, but you don't get this with other outlets. You don't get this with like blogs or ESPN or somewhere like, yeah, you get streams and you get like shows and podcasts, but it's like me giving you stuff, right? It's like me saying, hey, here's videos, watch them. Like, I'd much rather have a dialogue and be like, hey, I'm in this with you, let's create something together, let's have fun. And you don't get that elsewhere. And that's what I say, like, PSN season that will be put on all the hoodies and all the sweatshirts, it's a community and it's an ethos to get behind, and that's our slogan. And it's sort of just saying like, hey, it's our season and you're a part of that. So like if you guys go out and you've got job interviews or you achieve something or it's your birthday or something good happens to you in life, like it's that something to believe in. Like it's PSN season, like I'm part of that. That's me, it's us, and we all support you in what you do. And it's like I love that, and I love how good this community is. I never in a million years thought that when I first started a website 5 years ago, I'd be sat here in an office talking to some of the most passionate fans on the planet. You guys are utterly incredible, and I'm so damn lucky to call you, like, I'd say an audience, but that feels bad now, like friends, essentially. It's a family, it's a brotherhood, sisterhood for all the females here. Like, it's just everyone. I love it. Liam, Tuesday trade deadline, who am I taking? I'm going to go with Robbie Anderson and Levante David. Those are my two guys that I want. If not, pick up Benny Logan. Just, something simple. But honestly, thank you so much for all the support. If you want a live stream on Tuesday, right, for the trade deadline, let me know and I'll make it happen. We'll get it together. We'll all get together. We'll get some beers, get some food, give away a couple of hoodies, and we'll talk about the trade deadline. If you want to follow me on Twitter, at Liam Jenkins PSN, thank you so much for the support. It is utterly unbelievable. And we'll see you soon. Well, we'll see you tomorrow for This Week in Philadelphia Sports, all right? So if you haven't won a hoodie, tomorrow, This Week in Philadelphia Sports, tune in, leave a like, we'll enter you again, all right? But guys, you've been incredible. I keep dragging out this topic goodbye because I hate leaving you. I'm like a clingy boyfriend at this point. I'll see you soon, all right?